All right, let me say hello and welcome to another weekly edition of Stock Market Mutterings. Doug here with the LincolnList.com. This is for the week that begins on the 25th of November, which will be a short week because we have Thanksgiving, so please enjoy your day off. Will it be a wild week? Or will it be a tame week? We soon shall find out, will we not? As always, I'll do my very best here to take a grope in the murkiness, try to make some sense out of this market and provide you with some quality trade setups. If you guys need some help with your personal trading, I'm going to post the link down on the screen. Feel free to trade with us live each day the market is open. Now, I'll tell you what, these last couple of market mutterings, man, we've come up with some great ideas. Last week, our top two stocks, Netflix and ROKU. Nice trades there. Netflix went for over 20 bucks. And of course, Roku seems like it goes up $20 every 5 minutes. I know that's an exaggeration, but it certainly seems like it. So there's some really nice stuff. So I'm going to try to keep it going, keep the streak going, and really see if we can just keep them performing here for the rest of the week. We'll start out here talking about the market as always, and there's not much change here. I mean, it's ultra bullish. There was a few washouts here and there on some trade war, like we haven't heard enough trade war talk, right? It's like something we have to deal with every day. But again, the same thing, dip gets bought. There was a small fade. Market was down a little bit for the week, but it was up like hell for the last couple of months. And it's just sitting here at the 10 moving average. Going forward, we can just use that as a guide, simply put. If it gets underneath the 10 moving average there, which is like 310, then maybe we'll start talking about the 20 or maybe the last flag support of the bases that were around 307s. Maybe you start to see that. If not, you're probably going to see either a flat market or just a continual melt up that may end up taking towards the 315s. Who knows? It is what it is. It just seems to have its own sort of agenda every day, and that's what it is. So that's my market synopsis for you right there. Now, there are a few stocks here that strike my interest, and one of them here is, I talked about this one before. It was a pretty good trade there a week ago, and last week I was thinking about maybe it was going to be a short, and same way with PAYC. I'm like, thank God I didn't touch those two. This now is flipped over to where it's like it's just turning into another flag. It's consolidated its gains after this monster run up, and this is sort of something that's just been. It's gone, guys. I don't know how else to say it. This trade is gone. This stocks that run up and then become great shorts. A couple of years ago, this was like a dynamite setup, and I'll show you PAYC here in just a minute. You get these multi-day runners, and I mean, they were just slam dunks a couple of years ago. You could just stand on top of those things, and they'd eventually pull back. Now, they just don't pull back. They just stop. I mean, most of them just stop, and they flag, and they'll sit there and not really sell off. And this is kind of what this one did. It just basically flagged over the last 4 days. Got a little bit of attack there on Friday. I mean, look, it started selling down, and I was thinking, okay, it's going to break the range, which it kind of does here, breaks support. And you're like, maybe this thing's going to roll over here and finally crack down into these. No way. It's just a total sucker move. And back it goes. And not only does it come firing back, which we've seen this so many damn times in this market. And if you guys are short sellers, I got to tell you right now, you can't short down on the hole like this. You cannot chase a short. You'll get smoked. It's hard enough to short on something when you get the right entry right now in this market. But you short down on the hole, it's just suicide. You're just going to get spanked on. I mean, not only that, it just comes down here, just washes out at 215 and just rips to 219. I mean, damn, it's like a $4 bounce late in the day. So if you're a day trader, this kind of stuff is just sweet. Look for those types of pullbacks. But you're sitting right here at the breakout zone, right here where it closed. As long as this doesn't gap up too far on Monday, I'm going to look to long this. I'd love to see a pullback somewhere around 218s, 217s, just a similar pattern to what we had today where you get some sort of a washout so you don't feel like you're buying at all-time highs there. But again, in this market, another one we talked about, a big trade for us was RH, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with the same type of pattern, is that when these stocks get a whiff of their highs, like right here, they just explode. Like this thing just went running all damn day on Thursday, and this is what they seem to do more often than not, that when they break these highs on the daily chart, they're just gone. They just run. I don't know if it's an algo program or what. So LULU looking seriously bullish. Now, I did mention ROKU there as a joke, and I'm just not sure it's done yet. This mass momentum on this thing over the last week or so, it's doing the same thing. It's flagging. Now, this one's not at its all-time high. I thought when it made this bounce that going back to 170s was something that was just not going to happen. I'm like, I don't see it. But now it's like, well, maybe I do see it. It very well might do it. Now, as it sits right here, I don't think there's a trade other than a scalp. You're not going to get like that position trade where you can sit on something here and get a big move. Right now, it's a scalp until it breaks either this range where you get underneath of the 146s or you actually break the top of that channel, which is 164. So obviously much closer to 164. Now you can see where it's trading at right now at 160s. That's a hell of a big, it's a deep range to the downside and a deep range to the upside. So this is not a stock for everyone. This is something that you have to have a little bit more risk appetite for and expect volatile moves out of it. I mean, just a drop right here on this thing was 157s to 154s, and then it instantly comes back a few minutes later to 158. And this kind of that kind of wild stock, if you're not prepared, will just literally piss you off, because you end up getting stopped out or losing $2 to $3 a share, and then 10 minutes later it's like, oh, now it's higher than where I sold it. I feel like a complete asshole. Now, we've all done those moves, but you got to watch out for that. So give yourself a little bit of room. Make sure you pick your spots and take your shots and use your stops here on ROKU. But I do think that if it starts pressing up against that, you're going to see that expansion move that may very well take this into 170, because it doesn't look like it's done, but that could change. Now, another one sitting up here just waiting to, to be impressive is NVDA. I mean, look at this long consolidation on this thing that really just runs from the 4th of the month. It just keeps going and going. And every time this thing has been attacked, or every time I say attacked, every time it's gotten a chance to sell off, it's just seemed to find its way back every time. And again, like a LULU, I think if you break the upper range, which is 214.36, you're going to see that expansion move where you get this mass rush into it. So for the last two of ROKU and NVIDIA, they're kind of the same, that they're stuck in between that range right now. And something's going to happen here in the future. It either breaks to the upside or it breaks to the downside. When it's in between those ranges, you're kind of just trading that as a trading vehicle for scalps only. So for some of you new traders, you're asking, what am I talking about there? Between the position trade and the scalp trades, when it's in the middle of the chart, you don't have a multi-time frame breakout or a multi-time frame breakdown. So the supports, the resistances that you're looking at are on an intraday level, and they could be less reliable than something that's on a longer term, like a daily chart. So when you're doing that, you understand that majority of this is going to be a scalp where you're just looking for cash flow. You're looking for abrupt moves to take you back to the nearest support, or moves to take you back to the nearest resistances. Maybe very similar situations like today, trying to buy LULU on the dip there and letting it run up $2 to $3. There's a lot of cash flow in it. You won't always get $2 to $3 on every trade, but you trade them for cash flow. Now, when they make these multiple moves, like an RH did on Thursday, that's a different kind of trade altogether, because you're breaking a larger time frame, taking out a longer period of support or a longer period of resistance in RH's case. Therefore, that's probably going to make a much more longer, much more sustainable move that may last for 2, 3, 5, or 6 days. Many of these other ones that trade within those tight ranges, they'll just be good for one day and shit the next. So there's my little lesson for you there. So keep that one on the list. Another one here, I mean, these are all just, I'm trying to think about, hey, is there going to be a short out here? But it's like, good luck, right? Good luck. Everything that looks like a short ends up just, they do technical damage on the daily charts or the weekly charts, and then they just turn around and go higher. COOP, Coop-a-doop, Coop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop, Coop-a-doop, Coop, little entertainment for you. Coop-a-doop-a, okay. Where are we at here? I lost my train of thought. $13.20. Big breakout there. You can see this thing consolidating as well. I mean, it's like the same thing here as you're looking at a LULU. It's just you built sideways consolidation. There's been plenty of opportunities to sell this thing down. It's in a monster run up anyway. It's from 7 to 13. It's damn near 100% since August, but it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. So for you guys that like the cheaper stuff, pay attention to this one. It looks like it's ready to do some business and move up to the next leg, which may be 15s or 16s, and who knows, a 20 run. I mean, we see it all the time. Remember, there was once a day when ROKU was like in the 20s or 30s, I think I remember. So COOP, not a bad look. And I did mention early on the PAYC. Now, this was one that I mentioned last week that I stalked for a short. I said, first I thought, if it goes to 250, I'm interested. Well, it happened to have gotten upgraded that day. And I looked at it and I'm like, I'm just not going to mess with this upgrade crap, because earnings and upgrades, when things start ripping on that, it's like, again, good luck getting those things to come down. That's just the market. I mean, I've been around for 2 decades, and there was some great trading strategies that I loved and ones that I didn't. And one of the best ones that had the longest terms of success was you could get on top of these stocks like this right here, and it was just a no-brainer short. But things changed over the last couple of years. I don't know if it's an algo issue or what it is. It's well beyond my pay grade to try to figure it out. You just sort of have to adapt. But they don't pull back. What am I going to say? They just don't pull back. This one's actually sitting here breaking out again. Now, I'm more thinking of something like this. If you're looking at this for a short, probably best to use an option contract, a far dated to January, maybe a March, April, or something for a swing trade. That way you've got risk. You can just get an out of the money put or something like that. Throw $100, $200 on it and see if it can quadruple your money by that time when it gets sold off. Now, this is also a good trade on the dips. If you can see today, it just wasn't ready to sell off. It just kind of nestled down in the support from the last couple of days there on Friday and Thursday. It just kind of got down there in a triple bottom, couldn't break 258. So when I look at these stocks, there's always a plan A and a plan B. You look at the initial theory about, oh, I want to short it because it's up. Will it provide me with the opportunity in the setup? On the other side, I always take these very strong stocks, the LULUs, the ROKUs, and all that. And I look for these that if they wash out early in the morning, or the Netflixes, and they just dump $5, $6, $8, I look to pick those up. I just don't randomly go into them senselessly. That's just stupid. But you look for levels like this where you got a strong stock like PAYC that you feel might break down, and you're looking for it as a short, possibly. And then you see it break down here, but it just comes into like a quadruple bottom over the last 2 days and then bounces. There's no reason to short that. That's absolute suicide. Like I said, you cannot shorten a hole. And then your bias just changes, because if it can't get sold off after it's run this, I mean, look how many freaking green days is on that thing. It's just gone straight. It's a ramp. That's one hell of a ramp. It looks like a motorcycle ramp at the X Games on that thing. I mean, look at that damn chart. That is bizarre. And it just bounces back up, and that's what they do. So one thing you guys understand as a trader, which I think many of you do, is you always have to change your biases. You may be looking at one thing one day as an idea, but then things change. The market changes at any minute, at any given time, based on whatever it wants to change on. And these make nice trades, so I look for those too. So kind of thinking here, LULU long, Roku long, NVDA long, COOP long, PAYC. Hell, freaking everything's long. Just long some stuff. No, don't do that, because you never know when this party is going to end. You never know. It doesn't seem like it is, but you never know. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it right there. We'll see what else can come up. I think it's important to get off to a good start this week, since we'll be out on Thursday. And who knows what you're going to get. I think it's half a day on Friday. I might be wrong about that, but who knows. Make sure you trade them well. If you need my help, you know where I'm at. Hope these market mutterings help you. As always, tips, comments, suggestions, quarrels. Just want to curmudgeon my way. Send me an email, support@thelincolnlist.com. Trade them well, guys. Till next week.